Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Markakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be, primarily just based on these storms that are brewing and, a little bit about the wildfires as well. So, Adawan Ratzaza, you find this lesson edifying. Because I was scrolling, through the, internet and just looking at some articles. And here in America, at least, we've been getting hit with a heat wave, and because of this heat wave, these storms and tempests have been a lot stronger than they normally would be. And the same goes for the wildfires. It's a lot easier for a wildfire to happen, with all this, the dry vegetation and, because of the humidity and things of that nature. And this in and of itself is a sign of the times. Because, these heat waves, these more powerful rainstorms and lightning storms and tropical storms and hurricanes and tornadoes and wildfires that are just causing so much destruction and chaos. And first and foremost, the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles and elders, a great millstone, have been warning people for decades that these things were going to happen because it's according to the scriptures. And then you have, meteorologists who tell people that these kind of things are going to happen. And even though people are getting warnings left and right, there's a lot of people out here that are not taking this seriously. And then when there's a torrential rainstorm that leads to a flash flood, then people want to, are crying about it. But it's like, hey, you've been warned that these events were going to take place. A lot of people just don't prepare for it. A lot of people are so busy participating in folly and focusing on things that don't really matter, when there's a lot more serious things taking place. And the scriptures constantly tell us about, the storms and the tempests. So those of us of the Hope Elect who are reading these scriptures and who have been blessed with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we're locked in, we're circumspect, we're watching the news and seeing what's going on because we don't want to get caught off guard. So Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And when you look up the definition of tempest, it means a violent, windy storm, such as hurricanes or tornadoes. And haven't really seen many hurricanes yet this year, but there have been plenty of tornadoes in certain parts of America. Plenty of destructive and deadly tornadoes. There have been plenty of torrential rainstorms. There was that recent flash flood that happened. So the Lord is clearly visiting. There's been plenty of wildfires as well. I just did a lesson earlier today, it should be uploaded by now, about a wildfire that's currently burning out there in California. Again. So the scriptures are letting you know that you're going to be visited by the Lord with earthquakes and storms and tempests and fires. And that's exactly what we see taking place to this day. And these storms and tempests and earthquakes and fires are only getting more destructive, more deadly, more severe, more intense. Isaiah 28:2, behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And I talked about that, that flash flood that happened not too long ago. That hit that Christian camp, killed those little girls. A lot of these storms, there's a lot of powerful winds, that could rip the roof or the siding off of homes, rip uh, street signs out of the ground. And, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, a lot of flooding, not necessarily flash flooding, but, just, flooding that takes place in poor drainage areas. Like, we really are living in the last days. And a lot of people, they don't see it. Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. And like I said, you got tornadoes, hurricanes, tropical storms just hitting certain parts of the world, causing a lot of destruction, causing a lot of flooding, causing deaths. And this is overall the judgment of the Heavenly Father, which no one can escape. Salakia. Psalms 83:14. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And clearly that's what the Heavenly Father is doing. The rain, the lightning, the thunder, the hail, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the tropical storms. This is the Lord basically pouring out his wrath upon the earth and punishing, these wicked people wherever they live. Psalm 7:11. Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And that's clear. All the different judgments that take place on a daily basis, car crashes, the fires, the storms, the tempests, the earthquakes, the shootings, the stabbings, all of these different judgments are proof of the Lord's anger towards these wicked people. And judgment of the Lord goes out 24/7, 365. The Lord doesn't take a break when it comes to passing judgment on these wicked people with whom he's continuously angry with. Psalms 9:16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgaion Selah. Yeah, so, getting back to the main point of this lesson, these storms and tempests, these destructive and intense and oftentimes deadly storms and tempests are the judgments of the Lord. Just some of the ways in which he's punishing these wicked people, bringing judgment upon, these wicked countries and wicked cities. Second Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And when you look up the definition of perilous, it means full of danger or risk. And with the increase in activity, with the wildfires and the earthquakes and the storms and tempests alone, it's safe to say that we're living in some dangerous, perilous times. But see, those of us of the hopeful elect, we're staying prayed up. We're watching, we're reading, we're praying, we're fasting. We're rehearsing the righteous acts daily, following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, hoping that we have been chosen from the foundation of the world to endure unto the end and be saved. Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And that's right. When you look up the definition of prudent, it means wise. So through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, those of us of the hopeful elect have been made wise by being blessed with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures. So we're able to foresee the evil. We know that there's going to be more volcano eruptions, and there's going to be more storms and tempests and fires and earthquakes and mass power outages. And we know that the price of food and of gas is going to skyrocket, and it's going to become harder and harder for people to live out here. We already know that these things are going to take place, but we also know that these are all the workings of the Heavenly Father. So as long as we continue to do the things that are pleasing in the sight of the Lord, he's going to continue to provide for us. So we really don't have anything to worry about. It's all of these wicked people with whom the Lord is angry with who have to worry. Because like it says in Isaiah 48:22, there is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh, unto the wicked. So all of these wicked people, the men, the women, and the children, they're the ones that are going to be suffering. See, all of us are going to have to go through Jacob's trouble. But those of us that have faith that the Lord is going to guide us through safely, we're not really concerned about it. We understand that it's going to happen and we're spiritually preparing for it, but we're not worried. And then these simple-minded people, they just, they're not even paying attention at all. So like a thief in the night, Jacob's trouble is going to sneak upon them and overtake them. And many, many, many people are going to get destroyed. There is no stopping what the Lord is about to unleash upon this earth. All we can do is continue to pray and have faith that the Lord is going to, safely guide us through these times. Because when all hell breaks loose out here, the police, doctors, the military, the firefighters, none of them are going to be able to deliver you. The only one that's going to be able to save you is the Heavenly Father through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Outside of that, you're not going to have a chance. People's guns are not going to save them. It doesn't matter how much food and water they have stored up. It's not going to matter if they have a bunker somewhere. None of that is going to be able to save these people from what the Lord is about to unleash upon this earth. But that's something that these people are going to have to find out the hard way. And find out the hard way they will. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakudash. The Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently pushing the word of sincerity and in faith and shalom toward the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.